So as far as 5 Feet Apart went, I enjoyed it very much. I thought it was a great movie. I thought they portrayed CF pretty well. I mean,
it was a good representation, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't show all of CF and all of the daily struggles. It mostly just showed hospitalization, particularly when you're so sick to the point of needing a lung transplant, really.
But they didn't really show, like, what actually happens in the hospital. Like, at least, like, when I'm in the hospital, what my CF is like we get chest PTs every day.
Yeah, they didn't really show the therapies.
I use the vest, but only, like, once a day, and I get chest PTs for the other times.
Yeah, you didn't see the therapies, you didn't see IVs, you know?
Normally, like, for me, I'm hooked up to an IV pole all day, but that's just my experience with CF. So
definitely saw meds, like pills.
You saw a lot
stuff
of
like
pills.
that. The coughing was like...
The coughing was on point.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
They did.
At getting the CF coughing down. That was pretty cool. I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, so I'm not going to tell you, like, what happens.
Yeah.
But
they did a great job.
Yeah, they did a great job. Haley Lou Richardson, she, oh my gosh, she played an amazing, amazing part. Just from everything. From the way she coughs, from the way she, like, handled herself, her mannerisms, and then just everything, even her lines, you know. Obviously Justin Baldoni wrote the script and everything, but and he did a phenomenal job producing the whole thing. So thank you to him, and thank you to the whole cast and everybody involved with help spreading CF awareness, which is why we do our vlogs, to spread awareness and give you guys a little bit of insight into our lives with cystic fibrosis. And so, yeah, so this movie hopefully will help spread awareness. And the other cool thing was that in the movie, I don't want to ruin it, but she vlogged, and that was really how...
She's a YouTuber.
She explains what cystic fibrosis was, and they gave a lot of facts about CF through the vlogs.
Yeah, that was really
Which was really, really cool. So for people who didn't know what CF was, they went into that movie theater.
It definitely came out
learning,
you know?
Obviously, you don't get a full picture of CF,
no.
you know, from just a 2-hour movie.
Yeah,
but they came out learning what CF does to your body, and learning that your body produces really thick, sticky mucus that affects your lungs and other organs in your body. So they got to come out learning that. Whereas if this movie wasn't produced, they would have no idea what CF is. So it's pretty amazing that CF is now in the forefront, and it's being talked about and people are learning.
And also I have to say, there was a lot of buzz, like before the movie came out, like a lot of people were like giving their opinion before it even hit theaters. Oh, it's going to be a better representation, blah, blah, blah. Just knocking the movie, knocking the producer and director. And without even giving it a chance. Honestly, the movie we thought was really, really good.
Yeah.
For what it was and what it was about, they did a great job, you know, showcasing hospitalizations and just the struggle, basically, every day, you know?
And also showing how important organ donation is.
Yes, that was, honestly, I think that was another big part of the movie.
That's a huge thing.
You know?
There's a real shortage in this world of organ donation, at least in the United States. And there's so many people that unfortunately pass away as they're waiting for a transplant. And people just aren't aware of organ donation. So it's really important to make them aware of that and, you know, get them to sign up and become donors.
And they do also mention in the movie how, you know, even after organ transplant, especially double lung transplant, that the survival rate isn't even that, you know, high or that long, you know, in terms of years afterwards. And they really portray that in the movie too.
And remember that everybody has a different life with CF, and they showed one perspective of it and one way of living with it.
Right, and we can't say that their perspective is wrong, you know what I mean? Because it's just like Jill said, it's different perspective.
Yeah.
We can't really say, oh, that's
CF is
the wrong way. You know, it's not an advisable way, but...
CF is different for everybody.
It's exactly. So, I mean, we've seen YouTubers on, you know, other YouTubers on YouTube that have CF, and they're all different. You guys have the same disease in common.
What you need, you know?
But like, you're different people, you know?
Exactly. We may have the same diseases, but we have our own regimens.
That just shows that the disease doesn't make you who you are. It's, you know, you are who you are with the disease.
Exactly.
You know, because if the disease made you who you were, then everybody with CF would be the same. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm not cystic fibrosis and diabetes. I'm Jillian with cystic fibrosis and diabetes.
Yep.
So, you know, so
but overall, would we recommend you guys see it? I mean, I think it's pretty clear.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I would definitely say go and see it. Bring
and
tissues.
Even if, and if you want to like suggest it to people that don't know about CF and you kind of want to get them introduced to what CF is, definitely agree.
And you guys can see that we worked with our entire family. Our whole family went, and everybody came out saying they enjoyed it. They obviously know the way we live, and I live with CF, and they still enjoyed it for what it was, the movie.
I mean, I left the movie theater with a headache, a little bit of a headache.
He was crying with it
cried
more
a lot.
than I did.
Because it's just, you see things in the movie that
you live.
You know, you watch, in my case, watch my wife live, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I was just reading an article, actually, before we started recording, about all the reviews, basically, about this movie from around the world is basically saying the same thing. You're going to cry, bring Kleenex, bring tissues, stuff like that. So, I agree. I definitely agree.
It was really touching.
We all cried in silent.
We all cried at different times, because you have to understand, so...
It touched people in different
parents were
different
there.
ways and different times.
My grandmothers were there. My cousins were there. My younger, they were my younger cousins. My brother was there. His wife. His sister was there. Her husband. So we had our siblings there. Cousins, aunts. My aunt was there. And just everybody was coming with it from a different perspective. Different family members watching it, so I think everybody, you looked at their eyes, and people were crying at different times because it's just different lines and things they were saying were just touching them at different times, So, yeah.
But overall, definitely.
I would say if you're interested, go and watch it and enjoy it. Don't look at it as it's a CF movie. Look at it as it's a movie.
And the characters have CF,
and they have CF, and it's reason we're in it.
Because they're living their lives too in the movie. I mean, they're trying as best they can to have normal lives.
Exactly.
Even though they can't have normal lives, Like you'll see in the movie, like which is a big reality for us too. Like the main character Stella sees her friends going away on vacation, and she's happy with them, telling them have a good time. But then when they leave, it's like it hits her that she can't be with them.
She closes the door and they leave. It's, that happens to us often.
And that's just the reality. Friends invite us,
we
or
can't do that
something
our friends
maybe Jill wants to do, and she can't. So it is what it is.
So yeah, for us and a lot of CF people, it was reality. And we leave that movie theater, and like I was hooking up my IVs as soon as I got home. We went out to eat with our family. Thankfully, I felt okay. And when you get home, it's time to do therapy and hook up IVs and stuff, and it's reality for us. We live that. So that's our.
In terms of numbers, number score, I'm gonna give it personally, and whatever you want to give it, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Only because.
That's literally what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
It's a movie. It's not gonna be 100% accurate. It was good enough to the point where you're going to leave the movie theater. If you don't know anything about CF, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn enough to remember the name and go on Google and research it yourself and stuff like that. So I give it an 8 out of 10, which is very
That's exactly what I was going to give it as well. And then there was also times, which I'm sure other CFers can relate to, where I started laughing in the theater. And nobody else was laughing but me. I mean... Sometimes Rosario was cracking up a tiny bit when I was laughing. I don't even know. There was a few times.
Okay.
But I know I was the only one laughing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope nobody heard that. But there was some CF dark humor in that movie that just really got me, because the characters, in the movie were really going through certain things and saying certain things. And
I guess you're going to find the humor in it, right?
I found it funny. There were certain things, but nobody else really found it funny in the theater. So I'm guessing no one else had CF that was there.
True. And that's our review, guys. So
yeah,
definitely go see it. Let us know in the comments if you did see it, or if you're gonna, check it out.
We'd love to hear everyone else's perspective.
Let us know what you think.
And I forgot to mention some really important things that I found important. And first of all, we had said that mostly our whole family came. And unfortunately, some of our family couldn't make it because they were working, which was our nephew. But our youngest nephew, unfortunately, couldn't come, because our sister chose to make him stay home for very good, valid reasons. The movie is rated PG-13 for a reason. And probably about a year and a half ago, our nephew got interested in basketball. So Rosario decided to show him the video from when I was on, I don't know, you guys probably don't know, but I was on MSG when I was in high school, and they did a piece on me about basketball and having cystic fibrosis. So Rosario said, oh, how cool, let me show him the video. And so he watched it, but I guess it didn't dawn on any of us that there was a lot of CF facts in there, and he got very upset. We thought he was going to watch the basketball end of it and be like, oh, how cool, my aunt played basketball, now I'm interested. But no, the one thing he focused on was life expectancy. He heard life expectancy, and back then it was, I think, age like 36, 35, and that's what he heard. Life expectancy for someone with CF is 36 years old. Well, that was probably the worst thing he could have heard, and he just kept playing that over and over in his brain for the whole night. And so he got really upset, and he didn't want to watch the rest of the video. And so when we were all excited to go see the movie and talking about when we're going to go see it, my sister-in-law said, listen, I think it's a really good idea if we leave him home. It's not going to be, the outcome afterwards of him seeing it's going to be really bad. He's going to get too upset. So I think she made the right decision, because I saw how upset we all got as adults and everything. So yeah, obviously my cousins came, and they're 17 and 14 going on 15, and our nephew came with a friend of his, and they're 16, and they really enjoyed the movie. And yeah, so it's great for their age group and up, my personal opinion. But my cousin also came that is 11 years old, and he seemed to be fine and enjoyed the movie. But I guess it just depends on the individual, and it's really the parents' call, to see if their kid is okay with seeing it. So, oh, and the other thing was the masks. People with CF, obviously we go to a CF clinic or around each other, we have to wear masks. So they were wearing masks throughout the movie, like when they were around each other, like in the hallways. But then when they actually hung out with each other, I don't want to spoil this whole thing, but when they actually hung out with each other, don't mind me, I'm setting up my IV. They took the masks off, like when they were in the pool area and some other parts of the hospital, the common areas, just hanging out in the lobby. So I think they could have made them wear their masks a little bit more around each other. Those are really the important parts. And for us, when we say the 6-foot rule of not being around each other, it's 6-foot rule with masks, with and when we're in the hospital, it's masks, gloves, and gown, and then when we're in CF clinic at an appointment, it's masks, and it's a 6-foot rule, but usually we stay as far as possible away from each other. And most of the times at my clinic, we don't even see each other. We don't even run into each other. People were saying that they were worried that it was going to be romanticizing CF. I don't think it romanticized it, in my opinion. People with CF, we are regular people, so people fall in love, and they have a romantic part of their life, right? So he kept stressing how
there was romance in the movie. It wasn't that they romanticized CF. Yeah.
Rosario's right. There was romance in the movie, but they didn't romanticize cystic fibrosis at all.
Make it light.
So, exactly. They stressed so much how you need to stay away from each other, and
take care of yourself.
Exactly. They didn't romanticize CF. And actually, when I was in high school, believe it or not, the first day of school, I actually, the first male person I met, he also had cystic fibrosis. And I had no idea. Yeah, the bell rang, and we ran out of time to get to class, and I was lost, he was lost, and he said, excuse me, do you know where this classroom is? And I said, no. I said, but I'm going to the same one. He said, oh, cool, want to walk together? I said, no problem. Let's find the classroom together. And we both had CF.
Now, of course, Jill didn't fall in love, but say she did, right? It was a real-life situation. It could happen.
Exactly. So I can see how this does happen in real life. And, everybody has their opinion. I wouldn't do that in real life because I want to keep myself as healthy as possible. But people do, and you need to respect their choices. I think if everybody respected each other's choices a little bit more, there'd be less fighting and people would be more accepting of each other. But that's just my opinion. And so that's, I guess, a story for another day. Anyway, my experience, it got very complicated with privacy and classes and all that stuff, and trying to stay out of each other's classes. And all right, well, I hope you guys go and enjoy the movie and watch it for what it is.